You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905 812 2923. Info at netsoftakademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.
Now let's start with lab number 13. In lab number 13, we will be managing the user mailbox properties and also working with a few other things with the user's mailbox. So first things first, I'm going to sign in to my Nita EXCH01 as Nita \administrator. Remember, never log in as the local administrator. You might end up with issues that you don't know about, and that includes mostly permission based issues. So remember, always log in as the user, the enterprise admin user. Don't log in as any other user. All right, so once you're here, I'll quickly navigate to my Google Chrome. And now there is a choice that you can make here. Because I generally use an incognito tab, you could generally just run it right here. The entire thing about HTTPS :/Nita exch01.nita.local/ECP/ and you can get here. And the benefit of this one is, and I'll explain the benefit in a second as soon as I log in. This will ask me to save my password, and I can save my password, and that is the biggest benefit of this. Now, these are all the users that we have at this point. So we are going to be creating a few other users now again. So I'm going to click on new, click on user mailbox, new user, first name Tariq, second name Azad. Now for the organization unit, I'll be putting this user in. Let's see which OU should we put these in. Well, not putting the user in any OU then. Any OU, I'm just going to cancel this. I'm going to leave the OU empty here. T Azad, password 1350, password 1350. Now, once I create the user like this, remember, once I create the user like this, the change will be that the user is created in the user's OU. This mailbox user, Tariq Azad, will be created in the user's OU. So let me quickly demonstrate where you can see that. So you go to your server manager, you click on tools, and you click on Active Directory users and computers. Nita.local, expand users, and right here, if you do not specify the OU, this is how it gets created. Not a problem, the user is still in the OU, but in the long run, when you're organizing the users, it can be a little bit difficult and challenging. So similarly, I'm going to be creating a few other users here. I'm going to create 3 more users here. The same method, the same thing. So let me show you again what I'm doing. User mailbox, new user, gal, Gadot. I'm not putting in the organization unit here. G Gadot, password 1350, and password 1350, and save. Now, once I refresh this, this user will again be created under this OU, the user's OU in my Active Directory, which, while not a problematic issue, is still one of those things that you should not avoid doing as much as you can. You should not do this. Because sometimes when you need to access the user, you need to modify permissions, you need to know where the users are. So that is one of the problems here. So I'm going to create 2 more users like this, and then we'll look at the next steps. So at this point, I've created all of my other users. That includes Ben Affleck, Tom Cruise, Gal Gadot, and Tariq Azad, right, as you can see them here. So now we move on to the next step, and that is assigning permissions to these users. We need to assign permissions to each of these users for certain admin roles in the Exchange environment. So on the Exchange Admin Center, click on Permissions, and under Admin Roles, click on Server Management. When you double click on it, it opens up in its own new pop-up window, and you can see the organization unit and you can see the members of this group here. So if I click on Add, I can look up all of my users here. So for this one, let's say I add Gal Gadot here. Add, okay, and save. Now this is how you add members to to an admin role in Exchange Server. Now similarly, for the next one, that is recipient management, I'll be adding Ben Affleck. So again, you can just click on the edit icon here if you want to. Because if you click on new, you would be creating a new role for yourself. So you'd have to give it a name, you'd have to give it all the permissions that you require, everything. You can do all of these things here. So for recipient management, again, same process. I click on recipient management. You see all the roles. I would have to add all of these things based on how I need it. So I can create my own custom roles as well here. For members, I'm going to be adding Ben Affleck and save. And the last thing that I'm going to add is the view only organization management role. And each of these, you can also see this part here. Each of this has a description, the assigned roles, and who is it managed by. So all of this matters as well. So you can diversify your settings, or you can diversify your permissions based on your requirements. So view only organization management can only view things. They cannot do anything else. So we are going to add Tom Cruise to view only. And you can see we have too many Toms here. Tom Cruise, okay, and save. Now, this is how you add user roles or admin roles to users. So now let's take a look at the next step after this. Now, one last thing before we forget, while we added the other three users to one of these groups as well, for organization management, because we created 4 users, I only added 3. For the 4th user, under organization management, I'm going to scroll down, click on, and you see this one already has the administrator as a member. So I'm going to add another member here. Add, and I'm going to click on search for, I can only put in part of the name and it will still work anyway. Tariq Azad, okay, and save. Now, that is all the users that we created. All the 4 users that we created in this lab, each of them given a admin role. And that is the task here. Now let's move on to the next task. That is defining mailbox limits and storage settings. So now we go to the servers tab here on the right hand side and click on databases. And now remember, we created all of these databases earlier. We're going to edit the properties or the limitations of one of these databases. So I'm going to select IBM database, click on edit. And once I'm here, I scroll to limits right here. Now, issue a warning at 1.5 GB. Prohibit send at, and you can see that there's a drop down as well. You can select 1 or you can select unlimited. So you can specify your number as you need to. Now, what this does is if the database is almost full, so let us say at 1.5 GB, there is only 1.5 GB left in the database, it will issue a warning. When there is only 2 GB or less than 2 GB left on your database, it will stop sending the messages and it will prohibit the send and receive at another level, making sure that your database does not hit its absolute limit, number 1, and 2, you get some time to actually add more storage. Otherwise, you would start seeing emails being dropped off at random intervals. Some emails might come in, some emails might not. Now, another thing that we also need to understand is that email sizes are very small. They're in KB, they're in kilobytes. But over a period of time, when you're working for, let's say, 15, 20 years, or your infrastructure has been working for 700, 800,000, 1200 users over a period of 7, 8 years, the storage is going to get used up very quickly. This isn't something like the cloud where you provision something. You have to physically add storage to the server, and that makes things a little bit challenging. So keep that in mind. So now for this one, the prohibit send, I'm setting it at 1.8 GB. Prohibit send and receive will be at 2 GB. I'm going to keep the deleted items for 30 days. So that means if I delete an email, that email will still be available in the recycle bin or in the deleted folders or in the deleted items folder for up to 30 days. After that, the email is gone forever from the servers. And lastly, keep deleted emails for 90 days. Now, again, you might be thinking, what is item and what is mailbox? Item is the emails that you get. Mailbox is the user mailbox that we are talking about here. So when you delete the user mailbox, you are deleting the user's mailbox completely. And that is a different story altogether. So imagine that you are the user, we remove you from the company. That would be what keep deleted mailbox for so and so days is. And that is the idea here. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm going to click on save. And that is how you manage the limits and the settings on a mailbox database. So now let's move on to the next task. Now, in a similar tune, we are going to be doing this for the other mailboxes, the mailbox databases that we have created here. So we are going to start with Dell database. Now, again, on the Dell database, I click on limits. So here I can modify the settings a little bit too much. So let us say issue a warning at 3.5 GB. So this means that when there is only 3.5 GB of space left on this mailbox database, warnings will be sent. Now you can prohibit the send at 3.8 GB, meaning that when there is only 3.8 GB of data left or space left on the mailbox database, then you cannot send or you will be stopped from sending emails. Prohibit send and receive at 4 GB. Same idea again, same idea. Now, keep deleted items for 60 days and keep deleted mailboxes for 120 days. So any mailbox deleted from this, any user mailbox that is deleted from this mailbox database will be held for 120 days in a backup or in a recycle bin. You can restore it from any time between day number 1 to day number 120. But as soon as the 120 mark is over, the user mailbox will be completely deleted. Remember that. The user mailbox will be completely deleted. Now, click on save. Now, since we did for IBM and Dell, I think HP database should also get a little bit of special concession, it seems. So I click on HP database. Now, click on limits again. Now, just make sure that the limits are all different from each other. So for this one, issue warning at unlimited. I know, sounds very counterintuitive that even if we are saying that, oh, don't worry about the storage, we'll keep adding, just keep issuing warnings. It is a slightly annoying prospect. So prohibit send at unlimited, prohibit send and receive at unlimited, keep deleted items for 7 days, and keep deleted mailboxes for 30 days. It's okay. That is what we are doing here. But all of these options do exist. So because there is unlimited storage, you will get warnings. Because there is unlimited storage, you will be prohibited from sending emails. Because there is unlimited storage, you will be prohibited from sending and receiving emails. Sounds very counterintuitive. I know. But it is just an option so that you understand how exactly you can modify settings to make them work for you. Okay, and click on save. Now, this is how you manage. This is how you manage the limits on databases, and these are the different options for it. So now that this is done, now we will move towards individual user limits and take a look at it in the next task. Okay, so now we'll go to recipients, and under mailboxes, we'll see the list of all the users that we have created. So I'm going to select Chris Brown first and click on the edit icon here at the top, or you can just double click on the user. Both of them would lead to the same result, so that's not a problem. Now, again, you see there is no option called limits here, but there is member of, mail tip, mailbox delegation, email address, mailbox features, mailbox usage, and all of these things here. Now, for this one, we'll be creating on mailbox usage. We'll click on more options, and that is where we get all of the things that we need. So you're going to customize the quota settings for this mailbox. So the warning will be issued at 2.5 GB when there's only 2.5 GB of data of space left for the user mailbox. We are going to prohibit the send at 2.9 GB, and we are going to prohibit the send and receive at 3 GB. Now, apart from that, we are not doing anything else. We are going to use the same exact default retention settings from the mailbox database. We don't want to do anything else. And I'm going to click on save. Now, remember, this is one user. I'm going to do this process again for another user. This time, I target Blair Singer. Now, for Blair Singer, again, we click on mailbox usage first. And you can see that there is no data to return, so the logs will not appear. It's okay, because we know that these users haven't sent or received any emails. And do you see this part here? It is already set to 2 GB. So click on more options, click on customize quota settings for this mailbox, and make sure that everything is set to unlimited. All three of these settings are set to unlimited, and click on save. Now, this is only for that one individual user. Remember that this is only for that one individual user. All the others who are on the same mailbox database will be under the settings or under the influence of the mailbox database retention limits and everything. And that is a little bit of a, let's just say, gray area that we want to operate in. Now, I hope everybody got the idea here that we are trying to make sure that you can modify the user settings, you can modify the mailbox settings, you can modify the mailbox database settings, and all of them can be in different conflicts with each other and still work. That is the idea. So keep that in mind, and I'll see you in the next lab. Thank you.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.